All right. Enough Facebook. Let's do the show.
All right, so I just ruined Star Wars for myself.
Yeah, toast!
Yeah, toast!
Hello and welcome to Biscuit, episode number 36, your weekly Star Trek versus Star Wars podcast. Well, it is this week, but we'll get into that in a bit. I am RJ Velosky. With me, as always, my co-host Jacob Gamble, TJ Rathburn. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
So
Shockingly well, yes.
Yeah, it's been a pretty big week, pretty big day, because the new Star Trek trailer dropped. Kind of caught people by surprise. They had assumed it would be tagged onto The Force Awakens,
Which is what I had heard.
Yeah, but nope. They decided to give us a little preview, but we'll talk about that later. First up, you guys get into anything fun this week?
I bought Battlefront. Have yet to play it.
Okay, yeah, I've seen.
That's probably a poor choice from what I have heard.
What?
Yeah,
not playing
I've
it or
heard
buying it?
No, buying it.
Yeah,
buying it. Well, like GameStop and EA got into a little tiff that I read about and went, ooh, 20% off of Battlefront at GameStop. I think I'll pick it up then. So because GameStop decided that the game's not selling. And they're like, oh, well, we're just going to discount it and screw you guys. And EA is like, wait, what? This game's been out less than a month. And yeah, it's selling fine by our book. So don't know who to believe. Have not yet played it. I've heard the the detriments of lack of content, but I've also heard the fact that the multiplayer is quite possibly one of the best around.
Yeah, well, multiplayer is all there is.
All there is. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's fine if that's what you're into. And multiplayer, well, we've had this discussion on the show before. We don't need to rehash it. But no, the conflict between EA and GameStop. It's like if somehow the New York Yankees and the New England Patriots could battle each other, two massive franchises that everybody hates. But anyway,
well, I figured that I would take advantage of it and let this, the little tiff between the two of them, 20% off.
Hey man, get you 20% off. Well, keep feeding the Yankees.
That's right. Wait, what?
No, that's cool though. I do hope you enjoy it. Not my cup of tea though. My cup of tea is an old cup of tea, but it's new to me because TJ loaned me the entire run and I devoured it. Transmetropolitan, fantastic series. You people probably already know that because you are astute readers of comics. I was introduced to it by TJ and it was just fan-flippin-tastic.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't read that in probably about 10 years.
Yeah, well, it's time to read it again. Yeah, because it would have been about 2004 or so, I think. But yeah, I mean, I devoured the entire run in like a week and a half, and it was, I'm already pricing it out online where I can find it to know when I can buy my own copy now.
Yeah, it's one of the advantages of living next door to me is that I've got like, God, it hurts almost to say this, but I've got like $50,000 worth of trade paperbacks and comic books. So you're like,
and his address for anybody that wants to break into his house is what?
Steal all my stuff.
Right.
I'll tell you what, if somebody broke into my house and steal all my trades, I would be really sad, but they'd be more sad because there's not a lot of flip value on that.
Right.
Yeah, that's $50,000 in nostalgic value, mind you, not actual dollars.
No, actually, if I paid cover price to replace all the trades that I have in my home, it would probably be close to that. It's ridiculous and disgusting. But again, I've spent the past 20 years or whatever buying them, so it's kind of a little bit here and a little bit there. But yeah, you live right next door to me, so now I can just keep force feeding you all the good stuff.
That's right. It's beautiful. I mean, it's better than Barnes & Noble because I used to live right next to Barnes & Noble, but this, I don't even have to buy coffee. I can just borrow it.
Yeah.
But,
and then you have somebody you can talk to about it.
Exactly. Because nobody at Barnes & Noble cared about this. I could talk to the little old lady reading Deepak Chopra about iZombie, but she would just look at me weird and tell me to go away.
Which I started, by the way.
The show? Yeah, it's a good show. It's a really good show.
Actually, was not terrible.
It's It's a formulaic police procedural with an interesting twist, and the characters the actors have really good chemistry. The characters are entertaining and have some depth to them in certain cases. I have no problems recommending that show, even though it's nothing like the comics. But speaking, as we were a moment ago, of TJ's address, why don't you take a drink, TJ?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. This is for you, Beth.
So apparently, I'll let you explain.
So a friend of mine pointed out a couple of weeks ago that I was drinking out of a red Solo cup, and then that made her sad. And that she felt that I should start a new tradition in which I drank out of weird cups when we're filming the show, and that she was going to start by donating a cup to the cause. And twice now we've either planned to get together and didn't, or actually were hanging out and totally forgot to exchange the possession of the cup. So now I had to just point that out, that I am again drinking out of a red Solo cup. And if anybody else would like to get in on the donation of silly cups, contact me on Twitter or Facebook, or leave a comment here. We'll find a way to find a relatively safe way for anybody that doesn't actually already know where I live to get me a cup, and we will have TJ drinking from silly cups.
That's right. And
having known TJ, I would recommend a public place, and
always bring a friend, and make sure people know where.
Now, Jay, it wasn't that long ago. It's only been a few months since we recorded an episode where you were all snuggled up on a love seat with TJ, and you seem to have come out of it okay.
Hey, dude. Wait, do we need to talk about the pizza incident from?
I don't think we need to get that much into it. But
all right.
Yeah, at some point, it's still a show. But
we'll note that I haven't been back since.
Nobody gets out of here completely unscathed.
Sometimes you walk out with a full run of Transmet.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. So
walk out without your dignity.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I always walk out of my home.
I completely lost my train of thought of where we were going next.
Star Trek and Star Wars.
Well, right. I had something else, but we're just going to go into that, and if it comes back, whatever. All right. So let's start with probably be the smaller discussion.
We'll do the Treks.
Yeah, the Star Trek trailer came out today, and oh my lord. Okay, so Beastie Boys. Okay, Beastie Boys. I enjoy the Beastie Boys. I enjoy Star Trek. Not necessarily an overlapping area of interest, but apparently
it's a throwback. It's a callback.
Yeah, it's a callback, but I mean it's a callback to something that they did in New Trek anyway. So It's not like a callback. All right. Fast and the Furious in space is not where I was hoping this franchise was going after the betrayal of the last two movies. I had hoped that having Robert Orci and or is it Orci? I don't know how to say his name. Sorry, dude. And Simon Pegg, who is by all accounts a legitimate fan, involved, might bring back some of the character. And it's just a trailer, but abandon all hope, ye who enter here. But you guys, this is right up your alley.
I saw it and I was like, hey, I kind of like it. Let's see what happens.
I know, and I mentioned this before to you personally, but
yeah,
I'm aware, as the meager Trek fan that I am, that I'm witnessing the brutalization of something noble and good, but at the same time it looks kind of sweet. I was like, oh man, there's quips and things exploding. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes that's what you want, and I know that's entirely not what you should be looking for when you're looking for Star Trek, but this is the country where Donald Trump is running for president. We don't get good stuff anymore. We're not allowed. This is the Trek that we have earned.
This is the Trek. I would say that's probably a fair point. It is probably the Trek that we have earned. But and I will probably still see it. I'm probably not going to pay money to see it in a theater, or I might. Who knows? I'm fickle. But yeah, I've said this in private conversations before talking about it, and Star Trek's best years are behind it. But those years still exist. Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, for me, that's the pinnacle of Star Trek. And as long as that still exists, it will still always be near and dear to my heart. But boy, these movies, man. Boy, these movies. Anyway, all right. So that's our piece on Star Trek. The interesting thing about it is that, like we said, it was supposed to be a trailer on the new Star Wars movie. And if you watch no particular order, we talked about our worst or our least favorite parts, the worst things about Star Wars.
Which, of course, we were doing lovingly.
Yes.
Because 2/3 of us are big fans, and then the last third of us is okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, I don't actively hate it. But it is kind of an exciting time to be around when there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. I mean, even though the prequels were what they were, we're all old enough to remember the hype coming up to Episode 1. And it was an exciting time. It's fun to be a part of. So
back when there was hope, and now there's hope again.
A new hope.
A new hope. Yep. Yeah, a third new hope.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for myself that this time it doesn't betray us, and it's looking like it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I saw some interesting stuff online today where it's been released. I can't remember exactly how it came out, but Abrams has already spoken on this, that Disney, if this movie does not at least gross $1.5 billion, will consider this movie a failure.
Wow.
And he feels a dramatic amount of pressure, hoping that it will pan out. And it's Star Wars, so it's not even like really a long shot.
Right.
That you're gonna
well, especially not if they consider the merchandising kickbacks.
Right.
Yeah. But 1.5 billion is a huge number for a movie.
1.5 billion is a huge, huge, huge number. Like, the biggest grossing movies in the history of films are right up there. You know, that's not quite record breaking anymore, but it would be what, third, fourth?
Yeah, I don't know the list off the top of my head. I don't know the list off the top of my head, but
because I know Avengers got just over a 1.5, and I want to say they're second after Avatar right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be a little off. This is just off the top of my head, but it would put them solidly third if they got 1.5, if I recall correctly. So I can't imagine
Avatar, Titanic, Jurassic World is actually.
Oh yeah,
third.
World just broke it. Yep.
Yep. Number 4 is the Avengers.
Yeah. Well, no, is the list you're looking at adjusted for inflation as well?
Yeah, usually is.
Well, some of them I've seen that have been, and some of them I haven't.
And then it gets kind of iffy because you adjust for inflation, and then also like Avatar is so big because it was 3D, and there was such a huge premium on the 3D.
Well, yeah, everybody in the world watched Avatar once.
I watched it once, and I didn't even see it in theaters. It was not worth it.
Yeah.
I
saw it in theaters in 3D, and
I hear it was an
it.
Amazing experience.
Absolutely loved it.
I mean, this is the case for all three of us, but I have these big glasses that 3D glasses have to go over, and
they don't very well,
yeah.
And that having the two lens sets slightly too far apart gives me headaches.
Yes, I stopped.
I have contacts.
Yeah.
And then I spend the entire movie like holding the other glasses like this over my normal glasses to minimize the difference in angles.
Yeah.
And so I just end up kind of tired, and it's obnoxious. I think I've seen 2 3D movies.
I've probably seen more than that, but it's usually only when I'm going with a group of other people that really want to see it in 3D, and I don't want to be the one that's poo-pooing the group. But
I just wear glasses because I want to fit in with you guys, and
Yeah,
So I wear
you're
mine
too lazy
instead
to
of my
put your contacts in.
Yeah, more or less. But no,
Yeah.
it's never anything like I've never worn glasses in a never worn glasses in there, so it's not anything that I have
Now
any
this is
knowledge of.
this isn't gonna help us, but I'm gonna point something out for
Oh,
anybody that's watching the show that also has problems with 3D, because it's not just people with glasses that have
right.
problems with 3D. Lots of people can't really handle it. It makes them nauseous or it gives them headaches. And you can order online 2D glasses that are designed that you wear them just like the 3D
Okay.
glasses, and it gives you a nice, crisp 2D picture. Because if you try to watch a 3D movie without the glasses, you don't see a 2D movie. You see a horrible, blurry mess
Right.
thing.
Yep.
You have to be looking through the polarization filters to be
Right.
able to see the film.
mhm.
But you can buy 2D glasses that were invented by a YouTuber. It was Hank Green of the Vlog Brothers
Yep.
who invented these. You can order them off of DFTBA Records' website. So if you have problems with that, I am plugging another YouTuber's merch.
Yeah.
But it's also because it's a really like useful and
Well,
brilliant thing, regardless of where it came from.
To be fair, us calling Hank Green another YouTuber is kind of like a little league player calling
Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera another baseball player. But
That's true.
Um,
What I'm saying is
Someday I'm gonna be just like you.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know that I want to be just like Hank Green. I would just like to know Hank and John Green.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they seem like nice fellas.
They do. They seem like good folks.
Yep. But yeah, that's
the episode in which we kiss the green. Wait,
What's horrifying now is the like infinitely small possibility that somehow they would see this and I would be embarrassed.
Oh, I'm sure they get much nerdier than this at the VidCons and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
you are,
anyway,
fanboy.
Yeah.
Fanboy.
We are a bunch of fanboys. I don't know what else about this. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. That there's, I guess I'll boil it down for you guys, the Star Wars fans here. What one thing are you most excited to see in the movie? Putting you on the spot, so I will vamp while you think.
I mean, my first thought is I want to see Luke. We haven't seen much of him in the trailers. They've done a really good job of keeping mum
none of him in the trailers.
We probably saw his hand. In the first teaser, and you see R2, and you see like a cloaked figure and a robotic hand, like just kind of pat him, and that is presumably Luke. There's no guarantee, but that's the best, the best shot we have of having seen anything of Skywalker so far. And that's what I really want to see. As much as I got chills when it was, Chewie and Han, and that moment at the end of the trailer with like Chewie, we're home, and I'm like, yes. And I love all of the characters, and I'm excited to see all of them. I really want to see what they do with Luke Skywalker and why they've kept us so in the dark about what has been going on with him. I've got fan theories and stuff, and I've had conversations with it.
Because he's Kylo Ren.
There's no way, no.
I can buy that theory, to be honest.
It would be one of those things where it could be done, but it would be really difficult to do it without it being just so spectacularly cheap, because everybody can see that twist coming. Yeah. I personally would like to see a situation where Kylo Ren is a student of his, and possibly like family of his, that has fallen to the dark side and is like trying to find him, and he is hiding and eventually has to be found by the new heroes and brought out so that Luke can finally rectify the mistakes that he's made trying to reforge the Jedi Order. That's what I would like to see. That would be a really compelling arc. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's.
But you're excited to see what they're doing just because of all that. Yeah, Jay, have you had enough time to think about it yet?
I honestly, like TJ just pretty much said everything that I had to say in regards to what I'm looking forward to seeing, and that's the age progression and the old family, if you will. There with I'm excited to see Han and Chewie and Leia. Leia in particular, actually.
And 3PO.
No, no.
Why?
Kylo Ren is C-3PO. You heard it here first.
Yes.
Jay, why?
Yes.
Jay, why Leia in particular?
Leia in particular, because my understanding is that my understanding is that she's become much more the captain and everything else that she should have been all along. I mean,
Gotcha.
she was the hero of the hero
has
of the rebellion, and now she's actually getting the opportunity to demonstrate that she is.
Well, she has
And
the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's no longer Princess Leia. She's General Leia.
Yep. And that's exciting for me. What they've done through the end of 7 till until this one comes out, or pardon me, the end of 6 until 7 comes out. There's backstory there, and I always love backstory.
How much do you think the old characters are going to play into it though? Because is this, you think they're just going to be there as more or less kind of a passing of the torch capacity, or you think they'll be central to the story?
I think they'll be central to the story.
I believe that they'll be central to this story.
I think they'll be central. Go ahead.
I think, honestly, I think that it will be a passing of the torch. That this will, a lot of this will center around them, followed by the next one, which will start to veer them off until the third one, when they're cut off completely, and it's a new restored order, because that's what Disney ultimately, I believe, wants, is a fresh slate to be able to write what they want to write, hence the destruction of the EU.
Gotcha.
I think that the original characters are going to be central to this entire trilogy, and I think that a large portion of why we're going to see the new characters is simply a logistics thing. Like, it would be very difficult to have people like Mark Hamill's age and Harrison Ford's age be the action heroes. You need people who can do those big action beats. But I think that the characters from the original trilogy, they don't have to go away. They can still be like big portions of what's going on and very central to the storyline, but they just don't have to be the ones running around anymore, because they might not be able to do it, or at least do it convincingly. I'd like to see those characters having aged gracefully. I would like to see, I mean, obviously I want to see at some point, like, I want to see Luke show up and bust out a lightsaber, regardless of whether he's light side or dark side. Like, I want to see him fight somebody. But I'd also like to see him as an old man who has learned how to fight with precision and subtlety, because he doesn't have that strength and spryness of a young man anymore. I don't want to see the Yoda flipping around thing. I kind of want to see closer to the Dooku who has small measured movements. Like, I want
or that. Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
In the original.
See, I don't know why, but like, I want the passing of the torch simply based on the fact that I really want to. I really want to geek out when Han is the getaway driver for the escape of the escape of the destruction of some second Death Star or some crap like that,
but that's still central to the storyline.
Right, but he just solely the getaway driver cameo appearance kind of thing, where I'm like, yes, and that's what I really want to see out of them. I want to see them fade in a manner that is graceful and still conducive to the story.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to eventually become what generally people do become as they're older, and especially in kind of governmental roles. And like Leia's title change in particular, she's not the princess running around with the blaster and fighting with the rebellion. She's a general, and we're not gonna hopefully we're not gonna see Luke the Jedi Knight. We're gonna see Luke the Jedi Master, and there will be other Jedi Knights, and there's gonna be other smugglers, and there's gonna be other like heroic people who are doing the big set piece moments. But I would still like to see the original characters still being central to the plot, just in a more like graceful and diplomatic kind of way, like where they are more behind the scenes players as opposed to out there, hitting guys with lightsabers anymore.
Right. Yeah, I think that we'll probably see somewhere in between that. I think that a lot of what TJ wants to see will probably be served because it just makes sense, that to have these characters be there as sort of mentors and sort of an emeritus status, really, as opposed to directly involved in the action. But I kind of like Jay's idea too, because I would get goosebumps just like seeing a getaway in the Millennium Falcon again.
Which we're gonna see in this first movie. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
so. Guaranteed.
I don't want to make my speculations publicly because I don't want to be proven horribly wrong. but I do suspect that the scenes we've seen from the trailer are gonna take place about a third of the way through the movie when they're escaping from whether it be Tatooine or whatever other desert planet it happens to be. They're having Han take them to help find Luke. That's gonna be partway through the film. I guarantee you the first third of it is going to be all setting up the new characters. Then they're going to meet up with the old characters, and it's going to be a meshing of the old guard and new blood.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely makes sense. All right. Anything else you guys wanted to nerd out about with this movie while we have a chance here? We have tens of people.
The dog fighting and stuff that I've seen so far from the trailers, like the actual space battling and stuff, looks just astonishing.
Yeah.
Looks beyond anything I've ever seen before. It's gonna be awesome.
I don't know. 1997's Wing Commander was pretty tight.
Wing Commander, dude, it's on Netflix right now, and I almost watched it the other day.
Speaking of Mark Hamill, his roles in the FMV Wing Commander 3, 4, and Prophecy, I enjoyed. But anyway,
and of course,
the Joker.
And of course, the Joker.
The Joker. Yes.
Which I am really torn, honestly speaking, as to what role is the iconic role for me when it comes to Mark Hamill.
I mean, it's got to be Luke Skywalker, just because
it's Luke Skywalker, but not by as big of a margin as it should be, probably, because when I think of people that have defined characters. He did just as good a job defining the Joker for me as he did of defining Luke.
It's true. That's true. I think the reason that Luke Skywalker is miles ahead, though, is because as popular as Batman the Animated Series is, especially with us, it ain't no Star Wars.
Oh, no. Well,
no.
It's not, but Batman
in general, yes.
Is probably up there with it.
It's up there, and it has more longevity, but... You don't go to the store buying Batman oranges.
Yeah, we can buy Batman shampoo.
Yeah.
Well, the thing for me is that for Batman, the iconic Jokers, honestly, it's Jack Nicholson followed by Heath Ledger.
No, Nicholson's a terrible Joker.
Nicholson was the first Joker, and
Nicholson
still
the
smile and everything else.
No, the first Joker was Sid Caesar.
Well, for me, okay.
It wasn't Sid Caesar. It was Caesar.
Caesar.
Oh man.
Caesar Romero.
Caesar
Romero. That's it. Yeah. Sid
Caesar was the dog guy. Wasn't it?
Sid Caesar. I don't know. He was a comedian. I've seen him in old movies. No, man. Caesar Romero, Burgess Meredith. These are the defining.
Man. I loved the first Batman movie based off of the TV show. And
yes.
I mean, there were earlier Batman things as well, but still, that 60s show, that sequence at the beginning of Batman the movie, where he's got the huge bomb,
yes,
the huge cartoon-esque bomb, and he's running around with it over his head, and he's running down the dock, and he goes to throw it, and then there's nuns over there, and he's and then he turns and runs the other way, and he stops, and there's a bunch of ducks over there, and he's like, and then he just deadpan at the camera. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Personally, for my money, just blow up the ducks. They're ducks. You're Batman.
speaking of not being able to get rid of a bomb, it is about that time to wrap this up.
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
let's get into our comments. Yep, we
Yeah.
had last week's top 5 best video game villains or antagonists of all time. We asked people, as always, to provide us with their list, and we got some responses.
Yes, and do Steve's first.
Do Steve's
if you got
first?
it up. Yeah,
Okay,
because
Steve's-
I loved his choices.
Steve's were number 1, Donkey Kong. Again, I'd like to do all the reasons why, but time. So his number 1 was Donkey Kong. His number 2 was Kane from Shining Force. Number 3, Bald Bull, because it made him rage quit Punch Out a lot.
Yeah.
Number 4, Mountain Lions from Red Dead Redemption, and he's not wrong. And finally, Wander, Shadow of the Colossus, and that kind of pseudo twist where you realize that like you're. I never felt that you were the villain, but you certainly weren't doing good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, how are you not the villain when ultimately you're killing?
Because
this race?
morality is gray, Jay. Because
Yeah.
morality is gray.
Right. I mean, ultimately, what you are doing is you're killing like ancient and beautiful creatures, but what he was doing it for wasn't necessarily villainous. He was not completely aware of what he was doing, and like the each Colossus. Like, there's no guarantee that the Colossi were good either.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Just because they were ancient and cool looking and stuff doesn't necessarily imply that they were good. Nobody was good in that story.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve, for that contribution, because that's exactly the type of thing we were looking for in terms of good villains. And you want to talk about a mechanical villain, not necessarily in the literal sense, but the mechanics, literally the entire game.
Yeah.
Was that right there. So fantastic submission. Also, in that sort of reversal, there was an entry on Raven's list, which you should have there, right?
Yep, I do. Braid, which was an
that
excellent
one was
game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain really the twist and stuff or what the villainry was. Such a good game, though.
Yeah.
Like, just really, really solid, beautiful indie game.
And to just, I know we're rambling here, but I just have to say, to actually listen to Jonathan Blow talk about games, if you're interested in the theory and the craft and the art of games at all, go watch Indie Game the movie. Go watch some of his recorded interviews. Jonathan Blow is he's a really interesting guy to listen to him talk about games. So,
all right, next up on Raven's list was Bowser, which came up in our discussions and stuff, so I'm glad to see that he got represented. M. Bison, and then Vega as well in later games. I have like literally nothing else to say. Like, yeah, okay, good job.
Yep. Yeah.
This next one I almost put on my list, but I found it on another list that I had Googled like while I was researching, and I'm like, no, that's so jokey that if anybody else had read this list, they're gonna know I'm ripping it off. But it was Dysentery from Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Like, man, that trail must have just been littered with dead sons and daughters.
Yeah. And sick oxes.
Yeah.
And broken axles.
Wheels.
Yeah.
And then the Joker. The last one on this
yep.
was the Joker.
Yeah, we did try to steer clear of that, but it's a fair point. It's a fair point.
And then Dave Brown only popped in 2. Kerrigan from StarCraft. Which I didn't play enough StarCraft to throw it on there, although it's an awesome character. Yeah. And then Handsome Jack, who also I thought about. We discussed Borderlands.
Yeah. I discussed Borderlands. I brought it up because everybody's like, I need one more. And I'm like, dude, Handsome Jack is an awesome villain. He just didn't quite.
He would have been great
list.
for your list, but
and then you guys are like, screw shooters. I don't like Borderlands.
No,
I'm like, why?
Like Borderlands. I liked the first Borderlands. The second one was not nearly as good.
But, good job, Jay. Always trying to caricaturize things to incite more rivalry. Settle down, boy.
This is why I'm in between the two.
Brandon Warren brought up Lavos or Magus from Chrono Trigger.
That's a good choice.
And Brian Vaughn brought up somebody that I also thought about, but I left him off because we already had Mass Effect represented, and his was the Elusive Man.
That's a good choice.
Who is also a really solid villain.
Yeah, and if you take the Elusive Man in comparison with, or like alongside the West Wing, you can almost kind of see Martin Sheen playing the same character with vastly different motivations. It's really good. It's really good. All right. Well, thank you as always for those. Hopefully we'll get some more on this week's. Hopefully you guys can find some terrible things about Star Wars to share with us, and we'll read them on next week's Man of Biscuit. But for now, we are going to get out of here. You know all the stuff. You know, the thumbs up, the subscribe, share it. You know, whatever. Do it if you want to, but seriously, do it. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Just do it. Just do it. Thanks so much for watching.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
For Jacob Gamble, for TJ Rathburn, I am RJ Pulaski, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.